Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we're just going to have a little look at the upcoming Genestealer Cults Start Collecting box. So this is going to be available next week, or at least available to pre-order next week. It's very confusing now. We have both pre-orders and pre-order previews, where the pre-orders you buy the thing and then you get it a week later, and the preview is a week before you can pre-order the thing to then receive it a week after you've ordered it. It's getting a bit much, but it's fine. So there's going to be a Genestealer Cults Start Collecting box, and to be honest, this one actually looks pretty good. Essentially what we're going to have a quick look at is the value of the stuff in it overall, and how repeatable it is. There are some of these boxes that you could do with getting a few of. They're a great way to bolster an existing force, or indeed to just build an army. I mean, the Imperial Guard one especially, with the fact you get the Cadian squad, you get some heavy weapons in there, you get a Lehman Russ. That is a box that you can buy repeatedly and it will still be worth it every time. The Commissar is not as useful every single time, but the Commissar is actually quite a cheap model anyway, and it's one of those things whereby the value of everything else kind of outweighs the Commissar itself. As a box to get if you're playing Imperial Guard or starting, it's actually pretty ideal. Some of them don't have as good a value in terms of repeated purchases, and some of them are a bit niche, to say the least. This one I actually think is not too bad, so we're going to have a quick look at the contents of this. So the Start Collecting Genestealer Cults box, the contents are thus: we've got some Acolytes, we've got Neophytes, an Achilles Ridge Runner, and we've got an Icon guy whose name I forget. Icon Ward, that's it. So there's a decent amount in there. And Genestealer Cults, I mean, depending on the way you build your force, you're going to want plenty of reinforcements, you're going to want a good amount of infantry. And the Achilles Ridge Runner is something that I've seen, even if you're perhaps not a fan of the way it works, I've seen a lot of people get them just because, I mean, look at it. It looks pretty damn cool. It doesn't seem like that bad a box to me. It seems pretty decent. Of course, we don't know the exact price of this one. The Start Collecting boxes vary slightly, anywhere between like 55 to 65 quid. But even if this is towards the higher end, I think this actually works out to be one of the better Start Collecting boxes. So let's have a quick look at what we actually have contained within this Start Collecting box, and we can do a quick price comparison from there. So we have an Acolyte Icon Ward. So you can see him there. And what we'll do is we'll quickly switch back so you can see for yourself that these are what are in there. So we've got the lad at the front there. There's the Icon Ward at the very front of the picture. That guy is £17.50. So actually, for an individual character, not as bad as some. Individual characters have started getting close, like 25 quid or there or thereabouts, and so 17.50 is really not that bad, although as far as I know, there isn't a huge amount of options with this dude. But still, that's 17.50 to start with. Then we have the Genestealer Cults Acolyte and Neophyte hybrids. Now, you can get these separately, in separate boxes, but they're 25 quid for each box, and if you buy them together, they're 50 quid. So there's no saving to be gained from buying both of these in one box, kind of just as they are. It just costs the same as buying two boxes separately, which is something that I really wish Games Workshop would not do. It would be nice if you bought two different squads together, if you actually saved something on buying them together, rather than it just being a bundle that costs the same. That being said, I don't think that's anything that's going to change anytime soon, because the Start Collecting boxes are sort of what takes care of that side of things, looking for a deal. So, as you can see, either way, it works out the same. That's still 50 quid. And we'll just go back quickly so you can see that those are the same. You've got the guy with the big buzzsaw, drill saw, dude with the whip and the sword. And again, we've got another icon in there. And what I believe is a mining laser of some kind. But you can clearly see, again, same units on both sides. So that together, 50 quid and £17.50. We're now at £67.50 if you were to buy just those two by themselves. The big thing for me is this. So the Achilles Ridge Runner. So the Achilles Ridge Runner is £30 by itself. Now, if we assume that this box is, even if we go on the slightly higher end and say that this box is going to be 65 quid, the Ridge Runner is 30. The Genestealer Cults Acolyte and Neophyte hybrids are 50, so that's £80 to start with. So even without counting the Icon Ward, you're still saving 15 quid there, which is not to be sniffed at in the grand scheme of things when it comes to Games Workshop products. 15 quid savings is not bad. And then when you add that guy on, I mean, we're up to, I mean, what, 50 plus 30, 90, and then we've got 80. So £97.50, essentially. So if you were to buy these separately, you're looking at 80 for those two, for the Ridge Runner and for the infantry, and then you're looking at £17.50 for the Acolyte, which brings it up to £97.50. And if we assume that this box is 65 quid, which I think is reasonable, it might be a little bit more. Let's just do a quick, you know what, rather than guess, let's just do a quick glance at the start collecting and just get a full appreciation for the range of price. So 60, 60, 85 for the Vanguard, but that includes the Codex. So we'll skip those. As I say, between sort of like 50 and 65. If you're sticking a Codex in there, then it does jump up slightly. In fact, thinking about it, looking at it, yeah, I actually thought that some of these are more expensive than they are. Actually, the cap is 60 quid without a Codex. So I had that £5 more than it actually was. If we assume that this particular bundle is going to be 60 or 85 with the Codex, that is a lot. That's a decent chunky saving. You're essentially getting, if it's 60 quid, you're getting a Ridge Runner for free, and you're getting not quite half of the Icon Ward for free as well. That's pretty good value. That is pretty good value. And to be honest, that's the kind of thing I'd want to see from this sort of army anyway. Genestealer Cults fairly reinforcement heavy and can be very, very infantry heavy if you want to build them that way. And having a box that you can just buy repeatedly is a good way to go. And if you're going to do a box that you're going to buy repeatedly, making it have that much in terms of savings is pretty good. That is a pretty good way of doing it. So I think that's a pretty strong entry for that. Yeah, that's pretty decent. That is pretty decent. I mean, as I say, that the addition of the Icon Ward actually adds a fair bit there. The way it's phrased on the site, in a way, isn't all that helpful, because it says that it includes acolytes, including an Icon Ward, which in a way makes it sound like that's part of the box, when actually it isn't. The Icon Ward is nothing to do with the acolytes, and even if you buy the acolytes separately, I am 99% sure you don't get you don't actually get the Icon Ward in that box. So that does add onto the value by quite a significant margin. So that's not bad. That is not bad. £97.50 for all of that stuff separately, down to what I assume is going to be 60 quid, because that is the current limit. That is the most that the start collecting boxes come to, excluding the ones with the Codex. A saving of £37.50 is pretty damn good. It is pretty damn good. So yeah, strong for the Genestealer Cults there. Not bad. I hope we start to see more I'd like to see more properly repeatable boxes. Ones where even if you have to take out the character, it's just good value and it makes sense to buy more than one. I mean, as I say, there are quite a few like that, but there are also some that aren't so good. I feel like this one is decent. So yeah, new Genestealer Cult Start Collecting box. The value is pretty damn good. You're saving quite a chunk of money if you buy that instead of buying the stuff separately. I mean, you're saving more than the cost of another box of Genestealer Cults infantry of some kind. So definitely worth a glance if you're thinking about going down that route. Let me know what you think of that particular unit combination for a start for the Genestealer Cults. If you're a Genestealer Cults player, is that a strong combination, do you think? Do you think that is something people are going to have to buy over and over again? Is it going to be worth grabbing multiple copies of the box, or would you suggest just sticking to one? And overall, what do you reckon of the saving on that? Because that seems pretty damn good to me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like. Don't have to click it if you don't want to. It's up to you. And there is an affiliate link in the description for Element Games. As always, you can buy something from there, and if you do, I get something for sending you that way. It's a nice way to support the channel because, well, you're going to buy that stuff anyway. And yeah, it's just a nice thing you can do if you would like. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.